Hey everybody, Sandy here, aka Montolio, and we are back for a Vintage League, and it has been a couple months, so nice to be here with you all again. And today we're doing a video with Golos Shops. And I've been playing Golos Shops on and off over the last couple weeks and put up a few top eights with it, and I do feel like the deck is reasonably well positioned right now. And the reason that is because of Null Rod. And as you can see, my deck boasts all four Null Rod's main deck. And the way the metagame is currently is there are a number of PO decks running around in the metagame, and the Unlucky Monkey dot deck being the lead of those. And Null Rod is very good against Paradoxical Outcome if it resolves. Now, traditionally, it's hard to resolve a Null Rod against a blue deck, but the way these current builds are set up is they are light on counter magic and they are focused on overloading you with cards like Paradoxical Outcome and Stock Up. And this is one of the reasons why I have found the control builds like Lurrus, Esper, and Demir not to be that great against these types of PO decks because you're two for oneing yourself all the time trying to stop their bombs. And that's where a deck like Shops comes in, is that we are focused on dropping haymakers that stop what they're doing, and Null Rod is the best card there. And coupled with Null Rod, should it be in play, Crucible of Worlds and Strip Lock is a real thing. And of course, we've got the Golos to be able to go and find the land that we are looking for to lock our opponents out. And of course, all the other features that I don't really need to go through are the spheres and what they do. I've opted to have a God Pharaoh statue in my deck, a kind of a forgotten card in Golos Shops, but still very, very powerful, and our deck is capable of putting it out at turn one. I've opted for a couple Revokers, and I think Revoker is an underplayed card in Vintage right now. I think Golos Shops has just not been a deck for a really long time, and Revoker is one of the cards that was first cut from the deck, and that was because Bowmaster was so predominant, and currently in Vintage, Bowmaster is an all-time low. And of course, we're not running Revoker for that matchup. It's just an additional card that can buy us time gumming up the fast X mana until we can resolve a Null Rod. But one of the cards that I think Revoker is best at hitting right now is Lorn Revealed. And lest we forget how potent that play is, because Lorn Revealed is everywhere in Vintage and almost every archetype outside of Bazaars and Workshops themselves. So pretty good setup. Anyways, that's pretty much it with the main deck. Sideboard, I have noticed a significant rise in white initiative recently and have tried to titrate my board accordingly. Void Mirror is the newest feature, and look, there's not much we can do if a Void Mirror comes down. I'm not changing to five-colored shops. If it becomes completely confluent, then that's something we have to look at. I probably shouldn't be running workshops, period, if that's the case. But initiative in general has been I would say I'm probably about 50-50 versus it. Play draw really matters a lot in that matchup. And one of the things I found that's hardest is that once they've got the initiative, it is hard to take it through, they're able to chump block you and things like that. And Ginger Brute is a card that I'm going to play. Not because it's powerful, but because I have a chance of stealing the initiative with it and then being able to hold on to it through me being able to block. And obviously, I've got a pretty decent setup here with Argentum Masticores, being able to remove troublesome creatures from my opponent's deck. I've got 3 Dismembers. I am audibling towards this match with my sideboard. As you can see, I've kind of cheated a little bit on Bazaar and Mindbreak Trap, cutting a Disruptor Flute, and a Mindbreak Trap to be able to accommodate these extra cards. But I think technically we should have a good initiative matchup if we're on the play. It gets a lot tougher when we're on the draw. And look, if I think this Void Mirror is really taking off, and I do think it's legit. I ran a league with it the other day, and I never felt bad about getting that Void Mirror going, and sometimes it just steals wins. But that's it, guys. Let's see how we do. See you round one. Like, comment, subscribe. Okay, here we are, round one. Phantom Man 95. Let's see what they're on. Funny thing, I've been playing a little bit of Vintage recently, and I gotta tell you, I have lost probably 80% of my die rolls, if not higher, in the last 3 challenges that I've played in. Like, I'm telling you, I have been on the draw the entire time. It's absolutely shocking how much I've lost. I don't know if anybody else has had an experience like this, but I've been playing on this platform for over 20 years, and I don't recall something like this where it's just so skewed. Like, yeah, you have an event here or there where you just always run the draw, but it's been like 3 events in a row, and I just can't seem to win a die roll. Let's hope that changes moving forward here. I'm getting it out there publicly. Whoever's pulling the strings behind Magic Online, you're not doing me a solid. It's too bad this hand doesn't have a workshop. I really would love to go patchwork into Trinisphere. So, possible we're playing against control here. Sphere was a good one. Because this just means I'm likely to get the patchwork into play. And yes, it's notable that Mana Crypt, if this resolves, this could just eat a Spell Pierce, is a dangerous combination with Ancient Tomb. But we're going to get busy here. And they might need to save their stuff for... Oh yeah, they're going to stop this. This is a Spell Pierce, it looks like. Yeah. Yep. So we are indeed playing against control. Hopefully they don't have a snake here. That would be unfortunate. Saga. Okay. So this time we are going to attempt to play around... Ooh, that's not very good in this matchup, actually. But I think we do play around Spell Pierce here. Yeah. Now this could just be a negation. There's not much I can do about that. Okay, this is really powerful here. Now I'm assured to resolve my Crucible. Then we have a Wasteland lock, potentially. Okay, nice win for us there. I am not running snakes in my build, and when I put the No Rod Shops together originally, when it first took off, I had 4 snakes in the deck to be able to combat the Psychic Frog. Look, I'm not 100% sure whether we're playing against Esper here. I don't think I saw any lands to indicate anything. I just saw Nerves of Saga and a basic. Basic is much more associated to me with the Dimir version, and Dimir has a lot of trouble removing something like an Argentum Masticore. So I do think I will bring that in. Phyrexian Revoker is likely not great in this matchup. Yes, it does shut off. Actually, I could probably keep a couple of these. It does shut off Lauren Revealed. I don't know that I want Dismember. Disruptor Flute is very strong at shutting off Frog. Maybe I'll take a Miser's Dismember in here. Like, Bowmaster is not good against workshops in general. So maybe there's a possibility they're siding them out, but we're going to... Do I mulligan this? We are in the draw. Okay, I'm going to, against my better judgment, keep this hand. It's a little bit loose because we're low on mana. My opponent is mulligan, and we're on the draw, so there's a chance we find a land. Chalice. Okay. I'm not playing around days. I do think I put the Chalice out at 0. I mean, 1 is very tempting because of the removal suite, but no. I'm going to put it on 1. I'm going to pray to draw a land here. All right, this is not aggro. Hopefully they do not find a Mox here. Yep, punished. Well, I misevaluated what we were playing against. The good news is that they shouldn't be running Wastelands. Bad news is that we didn't find a land. In hindsight, I maybe should have mulliganed this. I think it was unnecessary for me to do that. You know, we are losing here. Pretty badly, as a matter of fact. No, Rod? I think I'm going to play a scrolling crawler here. And I will play this out at 0 this time to try and stop a PO from coming back down. They can do their Luris here, but that will keep their Black Lotus at bay. Yeah, getting back to my keep, I think it was unnecessary. First of all, I misevaluated what deck we were playing against. And look, it's hard to know. I only saw Basic Land and an Urza's Saga, and I saw Spell Pierced, and the most likely deck you're going to see a Spell Pierce out of with a Luris is Dimir. Urza's Saga is not confluent in the Esper versions the same way it is in Dimir. So just a little bit of a misevaluation there, and probably should have mulliganed. Like, I first of all have not found a land. If it was the control versions that ran Wastelands, I'm long dead already. So really, it was just not a quality keep. And look, I was banking on trying to find a land off the top and did not, and not looking fantastic as a result here. So this is very likely to be another Flame of Anor coming my way, which does seem really good. So they can Paradoxical Outcome, and I will just concede to that. Get a lot better at post board knowing what we're playing against now. Well, we need a land here. And if my Scrawling Crawler gets left alone here, well, I want to concede this game, but it's not that bad yet for me that it warrants a concession. A Paradoxical Outcome would. Yeah, here it is. Gifts ungiven. So we're playing Breach. Let's take a look here. This is deterministic. So this is like hybrid of like the Disillusionist Unlucky Monkey deck. It's a mixture of them. Like red is Breach. That's not what Unlucky Monkey plays for. They'd use it for Flame of Anor. And fourth Erolingus, Pyroblast. But it's what I choose goes to the graveyard, right? And do they have a Breach? Okay. Let's see if we can do a little bit better here. This is a deck I do struggle more against. Goodness, get this Dismember out of there. I don't think we need Argenta Masked Cores in this particular matchup. I do like Bog because it's Breach. And Disruptor Flute. I mean, they do have frogs on their list. I went and looked at it post-board. But I feel like we just need to get about our business here. Yeah, this is really nice. Okay. Really nice hand for us here. So I think I'm going to bait with the Bauble here. They will force this with all likelihood. And now I'm going to play the Thorn, and they will put out a bunch of stuff fast man over my Thorn, and I will turn around and I will get it with my Null Rod. Yep. That's a bit disappointing. I was hoping they were going to go Mox, 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 something like that, but that's okay. That was awful, guys. Just going to slam that rod. Just is what it is. That will have them playing fair moving forward. And we just need to hope find a Wasteland. Golos, Wasteland, Stripman, Ghost Quarter. I think I named Lauren Revealed. Yeah, it's awkward because I've got those redundant crucibles, but yeah, We've got the base here of a really nice setup, but one of the problems when you don't have any filtering or card draw on your deck is that you're reliant off the top of your library, and this is a situation here right now which is not good. We need a waste effect right now. And we've got a reasonable chance of finding one. We got 4 Golos, 4 Wastelands, Strip Mine, that's 9, 2 Ghost Quarters, 10, 11. So about a 20% chance of finding something. Okay, not bad. It's really good, actually, if I can resolve it. They have Force, yep. I don't think they're going to mess around with a Construct here, but they might. They have stock up in their hand. If they don't have another land... Okay, they don't. So, better late than never, for sure. This was a very timely Wasteland. And now, if they don't find a land here, there's a chance we could lock them out. Now, I realize that they're able to attack in for a couple damage a turn, but we can also attack back. Oh, wow. Okay. Nice. So now we are down to 7 out of 49 cards. So about 14% chance. The sphere here is good. They've got a 2/2 now. That does get through. There it is, guys, and it's going to resolve for Strip Mine. I could get out Urza's Saga, but I just want to get a Strip Mine here and try and lock them out of the game. I don't believe they have a functional way to remove my my stuff. I guess they could dig here, Bog. I could get Caracas and keep buying it back, but I just feel like Strip Mine's just a really good way to mess them up here. They have not played a land in 2 turns, and if they miss here, it's almost assuredly over. They cannot attack through my Golos. Yep, nice win. This is what I'm talking about. The age-old combo of Null Rod, Crucible of Worlds, Strip Mine. Very hard to beat. And of course, these decks just can't pressure you. Guess who won the die roll, guys? I'm mulligan this one. I hate double Ancient Tomb decks. I believe my opponent is likely to be on Dredge, and they are. So we can mulligan accordingly. Oh, that's too bad it doesn't have a Wasteland, because it's pretty powerful. Like, Tier 1 Trinisphere is really good against them, but this just is not capable of winning. Okay. They kept on 6. Okay. I guess let's see. If there's no dredgers in the yard, there's a chance that it's worth exposing what we're playing. Very bad luck. So we did peg what my opponent was playing. So correctly mulligan very aggressively. The bad news is that we were unable to find a Wasteland. And it's pretty low prevalence, as we said in the previous match. We outlined the likelihood that we were going to be able to find a wasteland. It was about a 20% chance, a waste effect, excuse me. Um, I think this is probably fine. I think there is some argument for bringing in Argentum Masticore, but we can consider that next time. We want a ley line. Yeah, not off to a good start here, guys. They've kept 7. I want to go all the way and get a wasteland, guys. It's just not, or a ley line of the void. It just is not meant to be here. Really awkward. That doesn't work. So if they hit no dredgers, that's our best chance. We need to dodge that and hollow ones. Okay, they didn't do great. And we have to hope they don't have a second bazaar. We have a chance. They did have a second bazaar. Yep. Well, I'll tell you, I have played against Dredge a number of times on this particular build, and it has not even been close. Like, I have destroyed them to their cores. Uh, Point being is I have seen a very low percentage side of variance in this particular match here, where I was mulliganing to oblivion. And that is not the norm for this deck because there's a lot of hate. The reason I played the Sphere, I know it appears like, why would he choose to lock himself out of the game? One, because my opponent has Force of Vigor, and that was to prevent them to be able to Force of Vigor, in addition to being able to Noxious Survival being the most important. Now, we got destroyed here really badly. I think that this is a poor reflection of this matchup. Okay, Siofo. Let's see. Okay, this is a great looking hand. We did not win the die roll. 0 for 3. You think of the difference, right? Like, think of what this hand could do on the play. It's very frustrating. Magic Online is punishing me for something. I have no idea what I did. So I have 6 mana to... There's no way to take them off of Force. I could take their ancestral away. If they counter this, I get punished for my. I am taking what would be deemed a very greedy line. Let's hope they counter this. Maybe I put this thing on 1. They're going to be suspicious what I'm up to now. Just hope it resolves, guys. Okay, greedy line paid off. No, they can still ancestral themselves. This is just going to increase my clock, both from combat and from drawing cards. They're very likely playing Esper Tinker. Okay. I mean, we had a much higher above average hand. Just can't win die rolls, guys. I like it. I like the way we're set up. Like, main deck Bog, 11 waste effects, right? 4 waste strip, 7 plus 4 Golos to be able to fetch them as well. 4 ley lines. We're going to Grafdigger's Cage, a Disruptor Flute, Bajuka Bog. Okay. This doesn't handle a lot of fast mana, but it's got some beautiful strip lock, sphere, scrawling crawler. Like, these are all nice things. They might just have removal for this, and I think that's okay. They're probably going to counter my sphere, and I'm okay with that. Mindbreak Trap also offers us a little bit of levity here. Stock up, gone. So they're thinking about swordsing here. Or are they interested in drawing cards off the scrawler? One of the problems with the way my hand is set up here is that Null Rod is not a card that I'm currently wanting to play. They opted against it, the removal. But that pause, that's what it meant to me. This feels like a stock up. Yep. Let's see if they play into my trap here. Trap is likely to be pretty good. Well, I shouldn't say that, but there's a possibility. So this likely indicates that they have found a force of will. 3 ball was a great draw here. Can I find another land? No. It gets in. Interesting. So that's pretty good for me because there is a chance they're going to tap down for a stock up here or something like that. And I can resolve my Crucible under the 3 ball. Like, they can't really sit back here, in my opinion. And they are. Okay. These Mind Break traps are looking pretty lousy. Well, I got to try and resolve the Crucible here. And I have to do it this way rather than playing the Ancient Tomb with the Patchwork first. Like, I don't want to play the Patchwork first, is what I'm saying. Okay, so they do have something here. And this is obviously a counterspell. I think the temptation is just too great for me not to do it this way. Because if they didn't have it, it's game over. And you have to go for a game-winning play while you're able to. And I should be able to kill them next turn. Okay, very likely removal then. That's just devastating. I'm playing it, guys. They have to remove my Scrawling Crawler here. Or I guess they can get in front of it, but something like a Bowmaster, who knows? Snapcaster Mage or something, but it doesn't matter because they're not going to be able to get through a God Pharaoh statue. Okay. Once again, another nice display of us being able to handle combo. Okay. We lost the die roll again. I don't understand what's going on with my die rolls. Like, genuinely. Like, what is going on? Look at how this would have been different. My opponent loaded up 4 mana turn 1, and they would have had no mana. Like, insane. I am frustrated, without a doubt. The probability of me losing every die roll every single match is very low. Yes, you can say a die roll is 50-50, but when you're losing a die roll every single match, it is statistically far different than 50-50. Well, that's their best 1-drop, without a doubt. Guess I have to play Thorn here. Reason being is that I will be able to cast my Mox and Chalice over top of the Vexing Bauble. Null Rod changes this matchup significantly. Wasteland obviously looks very good here. For those of you who have not played workshops, like Sphere Shops, it's very important that you win the die roll. It just changes the complexity of the game in the most devastating manner when you're the guy that's casting the spells first. This is a prime example. I don't know what the other cards in my opponent's hand were, but they were likely in a lot of trouble here. had I been able to drop my turn 1 sphere. Like, I would have obviously gone Thorn for, like, played my Mox, played my Thorn, and then tapped over it to ensure my Chalice resolved at 0. Okay, so what do I want to do? I have 4 mana, one of which I could put Chalice of the Void in play at 0. It would likely be where I want it. They are not quite at Lyris level yet, but very close. The problem with this is that I don't have another play if I set the Chalice at 0. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a turn off here and just hope that they can't PO me. No, this just can't be right. I'm not happy. I would have changed my play here. And Nettlecyst does cost 4, in case you're wondering why I'm not casting it, because of the Thorn. I changed my mind last minute. They just have too much mana for me not to consider a PO here. They've got something. Lauren revealed, likely. Oh, chain. Yep. Mana neutral. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they can easily PO here. I don't want to concede quite yet. Once again, I feel like this is an awful spot for me, and I'm very likely dead, but a Null Rod can change the complexity of the game significantly. Yeah, that's going to do it. I guess there's a chance I can find a Wasteland off top. I can still cast Golos. Pretty disappointing. I think this is what I want. Yeah, this is a strong hand. Find a land next turn. I can slam Lodestone. Okay, did not find a land. This does keep me farther away from Crucible, but I think that's okay. I want to try and control my opponent as much as possible. We've got Revoker next turn, worst case scenario. That was an awful draw. Okay. Did not find a land. Okay, Lodestone was a fantastic, or Ancient Tomb was a fantastic draw. Floats me, does use it all. Okay, that's really good. So they are currently under 3 spheres. I will save the treat of the wasteland until it's in. All right, let's see if we can get this next one. Don't have a null rod, but it is a nice looking hand. Yep. Revoker was so good here, guys. That's funny. So they will get one of my mocks in here. Which is a pretty good trade-off, right? If they don't do it, then I get the seal. And if they do it, I get their mocks. Just my question is do I want this thing at 1? I don't think so. Six patchwork to start. That was a good turn for me. It's a good draw. Gonna play around days. I don't think they have a days, but what to get here, guys? Got to be Urza's Saga, right? I mean, Academy for Inventors Fair is pretty tempting. But I feel like the clock that the Saga is going to put out is pretty strong. And like if they have removal here from my Revoker or something like that's not the end all be all for me, guys. Yes, they're going to get to use their seal, but I've got a lot of threats going here. Chain. Oh, recall. Geez. Okay, that's a really good one. All right. All right. This game just got a lot more interesting. They do have an active seal here. So probably losing here to combo deck. Have to commend my opponent for having Hurkyl's Recall. It's not a card that is confluent these days, but of course, people are putting up numbers with workshops, and it does need to be respected. That feels like a chain. It could be a Spell Pierce. Okay. Love to find an academy or a workshop off the top. This puts a lot of pressure on my opponent, this patchwork. I'm tempted to put the Chalice at 1 this time. I can pay for Spell Pierce here. They cannot chain my patchwork, so they do have force here. Stock up. Okay. So unfortunately, I only have one more play here. It's not Null Rod. I think it's got to be Sphere here. Yep, you go. Wonder why, I guess, why did my opponent pay the life? I guess they wanted to pay for a Sphere if I led with it early. Their life total is precarious here. Yeah, Trainer is decent. Does get in the way of my patchwork and save them here. Swords, oof. Seven mana. I mean, Golos. What does Golos do? I can get a Caracas. It's pretty good. They have 3 cards. The reason I'm thinking about this is I obviously would like to cast a spell before I attack, so I put my opponent at a lethal amount. Next turn, it will require them to spend most of their mana, if not all of it, to try and kill my patchwork. I feel like I need to put pressure on my opponent. So that means I need to play another creature. Because they will kill my automaton here. So I think it's Golos by default. Tolarian Academy does allow me to hold up Mindbreak Trap, funny enough. I think I like that. And it also allows me to use Inventor's Fair. Okay. Swords. Oh, portable. It's not on yet, but it will be on here in a second. They do my sphere here. Oh, so they're keeping the swords. Oh, okay, that's smart. Oh, I forgot about my sphere. This should be a lot of mana, though. This Null Rod has to come down, and so does the Revoker, and I would like to be able to cast Mind Break Trap, hard cast it, so I can save myself from the swords here. So I'm probably not going to be able to do all this. So leaving my academy alone, I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This will cost 2, so 3, 6. Yeah, it's 1 extra. So I guess the bauble probably is not relevant here. What do I want to put this on? Maybe I'll put it on Soul Ring, in case they are able to portable hole my yeah. Look, I'm nuking a lot of my mana doing this, but I think that's okay. Okay, nice win for us there. It was a little bit in flux in that game one because we were on the draw. They went off on us and just killed us, but that is one of the perils when you play workshops. It is a wing and a prayer when you're hoping that they're not going to combo you out because you have no interaction. But like I said, the other side of the coin, it's a concession almost assuredly right there. Well, I'll be damned. We won a die roll, guys, but I think we ran into our worst matchup here, which is Oath of Druids. That's one we have ignored. It's not a metagame deck at all, and not what we're preying on, but let's see. Winning the die roll is very important. I don't know if they're actually on Oath, but okay, we revealed a Lurrus. So if we're playing against control, this hand could have some chops. Playing against combo, what happens? If they're combo and they're really fast, we're likely to die. If they're playing fair combo, there's a chance we could get things going here. We do have a Caracas. I think I'm willing to try it. This is not what I would look for as an opener against any type of Lurrus deck, but if they counter the first Trinisphere, I'm totally fine with that. I would almost venture to say it's good. The risk now is that, well, I'm not going to get wastelanded. Like if it was control, that almost assuredly is getting countered. But if this is combo, these combo decks are not usually really fast turn one. They can be, but it's not the typical. Okay, so this is an example of not a good situation, but that's the perils of the type of hand we kept. I am not going to cast the Crucible to get the extra damage, or I guess I could attack anyways, but I'm too worried about a Time Walk Saga. Okay, that's not so bad. And Wasteland here. I don't think there's any reason not to. Doesn't really matter. We can untap and cast whatever it is we draw. Revoker was actually a really good draw, guys. So I'm going to play around days with the most important card, which is the Revoker. Mox Jet. Oh, damn it. I screwed that up. So this is a very common mistake for people that are playing workshops with Revoker, is that you have to pay attention to what Mox it is that you're setting on your opponent's side to ensure that your Mox is not the same. Because once you do that, you cannot go back and tap your Mox. And I cannot tell you, having played workshops for many, many years, how many times I have done that to myself. So we've shut off our Mox, and now we cannot cast our Crucible. And we therefore gave up a damage, which is a possibility of mattering, right? The good news is we left our Wasteland untapped in case there comes down a Saga. Okay. So we got a little bit lucky. That was a poor play pattern there from me. It wasn't a matter of sequencing. It was more a matter of that I did not recognize which Mox I was putting it on. Well, I knew which Mox I was putting it on, but I didn't pay attention to the fact that I have the same Mox in play. And I've literally done that 100 times in my Magic career, and despite I'm probably a little more rusty with workshops than I've been in years past, it's still a play pattern that is ingrained in my mind as it shouldn't happen because that damage could matter. I think it's one thing when you're knowingly not taking the damage, but when you're mistakenly doing it, it's not optimal. Okay, so I think it's safe to say my opponent is playing combo. We did see the Mox Opal from them. So I think that warrants bringing in the Mindbreak Traps on the draw. I think Nettle Cyst is just probably my weakest card. I like the Patchwork in the sense that it is not as easy to counter. Force of Negation doesn't hit it, and it's not as easy to remove, being the most important facet of that conversation. Like if I'm taxing their mana and they have to spend a bunch of, all their resources in a turn to stop me, to kill my Patchwork, I think that is a win for me. Okay, become a 7. We're going to mulligan. Okay, we're pretty reliant off the top of our deck here. I'm going to need to resolve this Vexing Bauble and slow play things. I think my focus is more getting control versus beating down. But this has the tools to be able to deal with my opponent's deck. And we'll worry about a creature later. Now, this is not likely to be a winning strategy here, guys, to be clear. But as always, when you're playing off the top of your deck, if we draw something like a Mishra's Workshop, Black Lotus, a Mox, it does change things significantly. So this is an example of what I was talking about last game with these paradoxical outcome decks. They're more value-based than they are explosive. And it's not often you're dying like, in years past with just overt, straight out paradoxical outcome where they just have a much higher percentage of going off on you than these builds. Yeah, that's pretty lousy for me, but I wonder why they would do that. Are they going to PO here? They're not. Time lock. Once again, we're hoping we draw something off the top of land here to be able to compete. If they're putting down fast mana, Null Rod is a possibility here for me. Once again, we've got a number of good draws. Workshops, Ancient Tombs, any Moxen, Lotus. So they're likely POing me here. Ancestral, okay. We are very much all in on this at this stage in the game. I do need to be able to resolve the Null Rod here. Any Soul Land does it, or better. That is not a Soul Land, but it is a land. I guess we'll attempt to resolve it. Okay, it is in. That is pretty good for me. This is PO, I just concede. Yeah. All right. So I kept a bit of a loose 6. Let's see if we can close out this league with our 4th win in a row over paradoxical outcome. This is pretty threat light. Right? Turn one, Crucible. But we're pretty sore to combo. Now, if they have a fast start, we're in a lot of trouble. But I do have the Revoker to buy me time. Okay, they've kept. I'm going to play the Wasteland in hopes that they will think that this is a safe line. And they let it go. So that's either they don't have counter magic or they're not worried about it. And they did have the Black Lotus. That's unfortunate. Wow. Is this Ancestral? Yeah. So we did get burned, guys. Look, this is not the norm. And obviously, I made a judgment call here that ended up backfiring. And I think, as evidenced by this league, though, like this Shops deck is pretty well positioned against these PO decks. I was on the draw with the exception of this one. Ironically, I'm losing it, but I was able to beat them through all sorts of different situations here, so I'm not complaining. No rod? Oh, three ball's not bad. Highest likelihood is this resolving over the three ball. Well, name Mana Crypt. They have 8 in hand. Oh, they drew off the bauble. And your go. They have Academy? They must. Another PO. Okay. I don't usually play it out through these scenarios, but for the sake of the video, I will keep going here at least for another minute or so. If they're just stringing these things, like if they string another one, I obviously we can't win. But and this is what I was trying to talk about with the Revoker, it providing me a stopgap until I find something like a Null Rod. Like, had my opponent not been quite that explosive, maybe it was 2 mana rocks instead of 3, like it could have potentially put me in a position where I was able to buy a turn and get myself reestablished on the board and somehow find a Null Rod or something like that. Okay, so this is not likely to. Crucible is irrelevant. We have another one in hand. It's got to be 3 ball, right? They have Spell Pierce here? That's what it feels like. Okay. Do what I can here, guys. If they have a Saga come down, I do have the Ghost Quarter here in desperation. If I don't find another land to cast a Crucible, almost assuredly my Crucible is not going to resolve. Okay, so that'll do it. So thoughts about the deck. Um, got 4 top 8s in the last couple weeks with this list. I feel like we manhandled PO for the most part in this tournament. I think my game 5, game 3 there, match 5, game 3 was a little bit of a bad keep. My opponent did end up having the explosive hand, and we ended up dying as a result of it. Should have been a little bit more disciplined and mulliganed, and I think that obviously we're looking for a bit of a different outcome there. But 3 wins, 1 loss to PO in a game 3 is, I think, a reasonable reflection of what has been happening while I've been playing Shops. I've been dominating paradoxical outcome. And of course, as I said earlier, the dredge matchup was the wrong side of low variance. It's very rare my deck mulligans that poorly with a deck that just has an inordinate amount of hate between all the wastelands, Bajuka Bogs, and all my sideboard hate. So I think that's probably the first time I've lost a dredge since I've been on this deck. But anyways, guys, it is obviously a pretty mediocre result. I'm disappointed to go 3-2. I felt like we could have very easily been 5-0 here, but there you have it, guys. If I was heading over to the NYSE, believe it or not, this is what I would be playing. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.